Okay, so this one's for all my HR pros and my talent acquisition, and maybe extra, especially for all my IO psychologists out there. I just wanted to show you how we created personality and behavioral based assessments hyper specific to a particular job. So I had a call with a small SMB type organization, about 100 employees. So this is where typically creating custom behavioral based assessments can be quite difficult and costly to execute. Now, this could be a Fortune 100 type of solution as well, because even at that level, it can be extraordinarily costly and time consuming to create really high quality behavioral or personality based assessments. And especially in the day and age where we're talking a lot about skills-based hiring and dropping requirements like specific experience in an industry or an area or education type requirements, right? So I took a look at the job description and I really honed in on some of the things that were what seemed to be most important for the attributes and qualities that they were looking for. And I also have another tool, GPT, that can do a job analysis in about 5 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes of interviewing as many people as you want. The more people, the better, but each individual needs to contribute about 5 to 10 minutes of their time. So a lot of different ways I can create and mine data or information about identifying the behavioral or personality-based qualities that I need that predict success on the job, right? So next, what I did is I went to ChatGPT and I'm just going to show you even the beginning of the thread here. So let's scroll all the way to the top. So I mined all that information. I copied, then I put in even the work requirements. I've just put in information about the organization, about what they do. So I gave it all the most pertinent information. And then I ultimately asked it to identify what challenges and personality qualities would be most important. And it looked at challenges there, and these are relevant, especially for job description, but I really was hoping to get these things. And so I pulled out those, and all of these match the job description and the challenges. So great, gave me a little definition. They were all right on point. And then I took the IPIP scales and I connected it in my prompt, right? And I said, based on all of that, based on those behavioral qualities, create me an assessment and look at the IPIP as kind of inspiration and create it and put it on a Likert scale. And it did it, right? Boom, came right out and created all that. Now, I wanted to take this to the next level. I asked it to add in some negatively keyed in there so they weren't all just positively keyed. And so I just took this to sort of an advanced level. This is, again, where probably an advanced IO or somebody on my team or an advanced HR person who's really familiar with creating assessments, would probably begin to just continue to take this to the next level. And then I put in, hey, I really wanted some exaggeration and consistency checks in there, and it did that, some reliability and consistency checks. This is basically similar questions to others or opposite questions or negatively keyed questions that are saying the same thing, just negatively. And some exaggeration prevention questions, right? Somebody who tells me they've never made a mistake, they're definitely lying to me, right? And they're probably less truthful on answering the rest of those questions. Anyways, I went through all that and I had it create me a bit of a prompt. And then I went through and I actually had it I went to Discovered, and under the assessment section, I said create a skills assessment. I'm not going to go through all of the process because AI does just take a little bit of time to go through all this. But I went and hit go edit here, and this is, so it has AI built right in. I kind of like working in ChatGPT. It moves a little faster. It's a little more flexible, but ChatGPT is also built right in to the system here. And basically I just plugged in my instructions and said, hey, so basically AI is a really good like copy and paste tool here. It was also really great as I got through the end in helping me create descriptions for internal descriptions for the candidates and all of this stuff. But it just plugged all the questions right on in there for me, right? So boom, and it gave me definitions. I can't display them here because this one's been in action, but it gave me definitions for every trait and the whole 9 yards. I just hit submit and boom, had my assessment created. Then and this is why one of the things I think is super important. I did this whole thing in about 30 minutes, right? So I was able to get an assessment out the door super, super quick. Then it basically created me a link that I could deliver to anybody I want. Here they go, they identify themselves. Once they complete the assessment, they ended up in here. I gave it to my mom and I took it myself, right? And then we genuinely took the assessment and answered the questions. It took me 6 minutes to answer these 70 some odd questions. It took her 19. That's interesting. And then it comes back in this nice report and scores there. And so this is where it gives you some definitions. We can actually take this even a step further, and we can actually turn the question answer breakdown on or off. In this case, it's on because there's technically no wrong answers to a behavioral question. But boom, right through here, all the qualities that we identified are measured now, and it gives the individual scores. The next layer here is we'll give this to internal people and collect criterion data on how they performed on the job, and we'll begin to create some benchmarks. And then over time, we'll give this to lots and lots of candidates, and people will get hired, and then they'll perform on the job. We'll collect more criterion data. And the whole validation process, we actually have a validation tool, custom validation tool as well. So the end-to-end on our end to create the assessment, deliver it to the client or to the hiring manager, the hiring team, have them check it out, make sure that it's in line with what they're hoping for. That whole process is going to take us anywhere from 15 to 60 minutes to deliver a hyper custom assessment based on a job description or a company's core value systems, or both for that matter, right? And those organizations are going to spend 5 to 20 minutes per individual they have complete this assessment. We're going to collect that data. They're going to hand us all of their performance data. Boom. So that process, super, super quick and simple. We'll have benchmarks built right into the assessment for the individual organization, hyper-specific to the job, to the organization, and its culture. Over a period of time, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, we're going to be able to do platinum level validation, criterion validation for that organization. And that it's just they're collecting the data as they go throughout the process. We'll collect adverse impact data, the whole 9 yards. For us and our team, once we get all that data back, it's probably another 1 to maximum 8 hours to complete the validation study and write it up, prepare it, deliver it back to the client, embed those benchmarks, those scoring scales in here, where now the client will have a highly predictive assessment. And it's something that used to take IOs weeks, 40, 80, 160 hours or more, in organizations a ton more time to just create, deliver, score, collect data. I mean, all those things you had to do in the past in order to create a hyper-specific assessment, which would cost organizations probably a minimum of 40 or 50,000, and obviously a larger organization might cost them a lot more. And we're able to do this now in really minutes or an hour or two. It's quite a remarkable thing. And so I hope all of my HR, talent acquisition, and IO friends see what I'm seeing here and are interested in checking it out. And my offer to organizations will be we'll create any assessment they want for free, and they'll be able to use it with or without our platform. Obviously, if they want to use the Discovered platform, there's a small charge. We will be a minimum of 10% cheaper than whatever their existing assessment program is. If not, in many cases, we already know we're usually anywhere from 50 to 75% less expensive than existing programs out there. But we'll do a price match guarantee and beat any existing program cost by 10%, because we can just do this stuff now in a fraction of the time. And we have all the tools and the technology, thanks to I and the Discovered platform, to get that done. All right, to hear anybody's thoughts, comments, feelings, or anybody interested in checking it out, let us know.